let's get into some comic talk. Again, everybody out there, 136 live watching right now, thank you so much. Let's get into my favorite part of the show, the Almost 10. Starting off with a killer Mike Mignola sketch cover that kind of reminds me of some of that early sketch art from Hellboy that we saw recently be auctioned off.
Yeah.
This is a book that I've never seen before. Hellboy and the BPRD from Hellboy and the BPRD 1952 #1. This is the cover B incentive sketch variant cover. Pretty damn cool sketch cover, for especially from Mignola fans. Mignola fans out there go crazy over this stuff.
Yeah, this has got to be real. I mean, because it's like, there's no trade dress on this, right? It's this is just the cover, right? Just like I think when I saw this initially, I thought that it was an actual like a blank book that he just sketched. But I don't even know if it's like a 1 in 25 or what is this? I don't know, but it sold for 300 at what's the other Hellboy that's like a ghost, like it's like $1,000 variant that you wouldn't even know that it was $1,000 variant unless you knew what that book was. What is that
I
one?
forget it. I forget it because
it's on
of
Recalled,
that.
right? It's on Recalled Comics, I think.
Yeah, like this one, I would look at it and be like, yeah. I mean, if it was sitting in a back issue bin for like $25 or something, I'd be like, yeah, I think I probably should. Even though I don't even know what this book, even though it doesn't say what it is, I think I would be like, yeah, I probably should buy this for $25. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's sweet.
Yeah, it's a cool book. It was very interesting because, you know, that prelim sketch of the Deadpool stuff sold recently at Heritage from Rob Liefeld. I think both pages, he took one page and he cut it into two, and each page sold for a little over 30 grand each, I think, something like that. And this is the type of stuff that reminds me of like prelim sketch stuff. And, you know, I could see this being like an old sketch that he did or something, but it does say from 2017, it looks like on there, but very, very cool. Very, very cool sketch cover. The true embodiment of a sketch cover, right? But anyways, let's get on to the next one this week. For all the nerds out there, a Star Trek book is on the Almost 10.
Oh yeah, this one's. I don't know who is this character. I don't even know who this is.
Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine, right? And again, I know this because I'm reading it. I don't know anything about Star Trek, or Star Trek is for nerds. But it is Star Trek #2, the 1 in 50 incentive Ward variant. So Christian Ward, great cover artist. There's been a couple, I'll be honest, there's been a couple Star Trek covers lately that have kind of made me go, oh man, that's really nice art. That Aja one was really good. And then this one's really good too.
Yeah, I don't. There's a 1 in 25 that has a trade dress, and then this 1 in 50 is a virgin. It's there. Obviously, you wouldn't think that there would be that many of them out there because it is a 1 in 50. I think I've got written down here that there was a sale for 100. There's only a few listed, so I don't really know what the value. But I figured because it just came out this week, so I was like, well, it's probably better to at least mention it. That way, if you guys see it for some strange reason. Again, this kind of one has kind of that look of that's probably an expensive book, you know, just with the coloring and, you know, it looks different than what we normally see.
Yeah. Great cover, man. Great cover. Even the trade looks good just because of all the color on it. There's something about that, the vibrant colors. You throw the pink and the yellow together, the pink and the blue together. You match those colors like that, and it just changes everything. So really cool book. How much did you say this was selling for?
100. It kind of looks like he's putting like his little taser or whatever through like a waterfall or something, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah. Or like the what do they call that? When Thor, the Bifrost, but Star Trek version.
Well, yeah, where they call that? Yeah, what is that? Where they come down and they
Bifrost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, next on the list, one of my favorite books that I will never I never find any of the really cool covers for this book. They're so tough to find, but I'm always searching, and that is Darkwing Duck. And this is Darkwing Duck issue 18. There's 2 covers for this. This is a cool cover right here, but this is the cover. This is the cover B for this book. Absolutely badass. This is Darkwing Duck number 18 from 2011, old school Kaboom logo. I love that. And tough book to find.
Yeah, last issue. This kind of unusual. Normally we're talking about last issues in Marvel and DC. Not so much some of the other indie publishers or whatever, but Darkwing's got, definitely got a following, and since they're starting Darkwing back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this one's what's that on the A cover? What's that robot?
I forget
What?
his
Yeah.
name. Chat, let us know his name.
Gosh, I can't even remember it. It's like Robot Duck or something. I can't remember what it is, but
Launchpad?
yeah. No. Launchpad's the helicopter,
Okay.
the pilot. But yeah, $60 book for an A cover. I do have several of the variants for like some of the other ones. Gizmo Duck. That's it.
Gizmo, yeah.
See.
That's a great name.
Good job. Who said that first? No, or late
Nice.
night?
Late night.
It's a free Stein pack.
No, said it first. Oh yeah, by the way, for all you anybody who did buy a Stein pack, I will probably be open those tomorrow. So thank you guys for that. Like I don't think you guys have any clue how much I'm giving away in this. All these books behind me right here, these are like additional choices. So you can get several of these books right here that are sitting on the board.
We'll break down the Stein packs after we get done with the almost 10. I definitely want to keep on that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, any of these Darkwing, honestly, if you see any of these Kaboom Darkwing issues, I would just buy them all because they're most of them are really hard to find, even A covers.
Yeah, very tough to find. All right, here's a book that Stein is just gushing over. As soon as he joined backstage, the first thing he said, he's like, "Did you see this book?" Ladies and gentlemen, our first foreign of the night. Shout out to all the foreign comic collectors out there. Huge news in the foreign comic community the last couple of weeks, starting with the Heritage auction and some even bigger news that we'll get to later. But this is a tough book right here. A rare German variant for Tomb Raider number 23, the Virgin variant from Germany, limited to 250. And I don't know the artist. I don't think Stein knows the artist. Chat, if you guys have seen this before and you know the artist or anything, either let us know in the live chat or drop a comment below. We want to know more about this book.
Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, it's got. I see a signature, but I have no idea who it is. It's a $50 book, but I don't know who. I mean, I don't know if this has ever been another cover outside of Germany. It's not like I go out and buy a bunch of Tomb Raider books or anything like that.
Right.
But,
what's up, Josh?
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about you later, Josh. But yeah, cool book. Again, I'm not huge into foreigns or anything like that, but if there's a great cover that's kind of foreign exclusive, kind of like like that Lobo, that Batman Lobo, is a foreign exclusive cover. The Michael Turner, the
Supergirl.
the Supergirl, those type of things that are, those are definitely, interesting books to get if they have new art on it.
Yep.
Do you just a random question? Do you guys like the new Laura Croft they casted? The shorter.
I didn't really get into it.
Okay. I mean, it was actually decent.
You mean from
like
5 years ago?
Yeah.
With was that Vikander?
Yep. Yeah, she's pretty good. So
she was
yeah, I
good
like the
in,
side boob. The side boob.
She was good in Ex Machina.
Hell yeah,
Yes.
dude. So good. I love that movie. Good call.
Yeah. All right, next on the list, this is a book that I mentioned in a recent market report on the radar. A very, very tough book to find at all. Old school independent book, one of the OG independent books that was part of that crazy independent phase back in the late 80s, mid 80s, early 90s. Knights of the Dinner Table, number 1, still being published to this day. I think they're like over, I don't know how many 100 issues. It's something crazy. Nowadays, they'll do some really cool homages here and there, and still kind of slept on, but a much beloved series, tabletop gaming, storylines and stuff like that. But I've seen this book get pulled out of a dollar bin at Jesse James Comics. Shout out Jesse James Comics here in Arizona. I saw somebody pull one of these out of a dollar bin there, and it blew me away. Tough book. What did this sell for recently, Ben?
Yeah, so apparently there's only like 3,000 copies of this, maybe, or something like that. I mean, it's not many, for sure. And I think they're actually either at 300 issues. I mean, basically for an independent, the fact that it's like close to 300 issues is insane. Because this came out in like 93, and I think so Spawn came out in 92 or 91, something like that, 92 or 91. And this what had like a 4-issue mini, and then it started the ongoing like right after that. And it's basically gone on forever.
Yep.
I don't it's weird. I don't know how it's gone on for that long, but 2 separate sales. There was a VG slash fine copy, sold for $350, and like a VF near mint copy sold for $550. Um, and
Yeah.
I think there's actually a CGC 9.8 listed on eBay right now for like 2,200 or 2,300. Honestly, that might not be a bad deal because I can't imagine there being that many 9.8s of this.
Yeah. Tough book. And I wonder if it was self-published. Is it Kitchen Sink Press that's the publisher, or
It's Kitchen Sink now, though, right? But
okay.
I don't know.
I think so.
Alderac, right? Through Kitchen Sink. So
Okay.
the issue 1 was the artist and writer created Jolly Randall Blackburn.
Mhm.
The publisher was Alderac. Alderac also did just the 4 issues. And the 4th issue, and they're all scarce, like Ben and Bryan was saying, low distribution, not rare, scarce. That means low. And if you're not aware, but long story short, number 4 is actually a pretty cool cover. We don't have the graphic for it right now, but it's like they're at what's called a Gary Con 1996, and it's all these vendors, kind of like a comic book convention or a trade show or something. It's pretty cool as well.
Hey, the
Nice.
only thing I know about Knights of the Dinner Table, and I think it's either issue 50 or 51, and this is going to sound really weird. The cover is dude on a motorcycle jumping over a shark, which is, like a famous saying because of Happy Days.
Yep.
When Fonz jumped the shark, and that was basically the end of the show. And I want to get that book, The Knights of the Dinner Table, with him jumping the shark, signed by Henry Winkler. So if anybody, I can't find that book to start with, but I know Winkler still does cons and stuff like that. And I really rarely ever want like autographs. But if anybody can find that Knights of the Dinner Table, like I said, that's it right there, 151. Yeah. So if anybody can find that, let me know, and I'll buy it from you. Preferably higher grade, but yeah. So I want to get that signed by Henry Winkler.
Yeah, they do a lot of really cool covers, really funny covers, smart, jokey covers that I like. So
Right.
I talk about them all the time on Comics News Weekly whenever we go through new comic day stuff. But all right, on to the next one, you guys. This week we have a very, very cool cover by Tula Lote right here. This is Plush #1, the Tula Lote variant, a new book, right? This is out recently. Really, really crazy storyline. Again, another book that we talked about on Comic News Weekly this last week. A bunch of furries at a furry con and vampires.
Well, yeah, we talked about it 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's just like what Bryan was saying. It's a bunch of like cosplayer furries, and this person is either being attacked by them or being trolled by them, and she becomes a superhero and wipes them out. But that's just kind of like a footnote version.
So cool. This just came out this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not I think I seen this a couple of weeks ago. I thought it came out a couple before, but I could be wrong. Maybe there was a delay.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's I mean, this one's a pretty Lotte cover. A lot of blood splatter all over, but yeah, this is selling for like 10 to 15. So if you see this one again for cover price, this might be a
again, look at the color palette. That blue, pink, and yellow, man. You get those 3 colors in any combination, or just 2 of those colors in any combination, and you're starting off pretty well. So
yeah, I totally agree. But go to my comic shop, guys. There's 2 copies left for $3.99. Go.
Eat. All right. Next on the list, you guys, we have a very, very tough book that I didn't even know existed. A Fables book, Fables number 6. This is the retailer roundtable program variant from Burbank, California in 2002. So 3 RRPs were given out at that conference that year. This, Global Frequency number 1, and probably the most famous RRP of all, Batman 608. All were limited to around 200 copies.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge fan of this cover, but man, this has got to be a tough one to get. I think I saw, I don't even know if it was I can't remember if it was for sale or had sold, but there was one that even had a detached cover that people were trying to sell. You know, like how in the world do you have a modern with a detached cover? But he did. But this one did sell for, what I say, 200 for this. But yeah, this all these RRPs and stuff. Whenever you start going into these super weird distributed,
Distribution,
yeah, these weird distribution books. I love those kind of things. You know, like the mail-ins, anything that is so hard to find. I love those kind of books because you just don't ever see them in general.
Yeah. Rarity, man. I love rarity. Mail-ins, books like this, crazy promotional books, you know. I learned of a new crazy promotional book this week, a tough Venom book that was in a ESPN the magazine or something like that. If you guys want to look into that more, go to Comic News Weekly's most recent show on Simple Man's channel. Shout out to Ryan from Rhinoverse, who talked about that book. Those are the type of books I love hearing about. Those are the type of books we love to put on the Almost 10 and let you guys know about. So what does this usually sell for again?
I couldn't find any prior sales other than this week. I mean, I have no idea what it sells for before. But I mean, like you said, I mean, if there's only a couple hundred copies out there, I mean, how often does it really come up for sale?
Right.
Yeah. Very cool.
Brian, you're right. Plush 1 did come out this week. I was misremembering because I covered that cover on the my FOC Hump Day
Heroes. There you go. Yep.
Nice.
All right, next on the Almost 10 list, we've got Ultimate Fallout number 3. Of course, everybody going gaga for Ultimate Fallout number 4, which, you guys, has a monster print run, like ridiculously huge, massive print run, and has dropped more than half in price for 9.8s. I think 9.8s were selling at a high of a little over $3,000 last year, and now they're down to like 1,200, I think. I saw a post recently on IG of one of our community members pull this book and an Ultimate Fallout 4 out of a half-price books for $1 a piece. So
this one I don't get. 9.8 sold this week for $800. This is not the variant. This is just the regular.
It's because it has the
teaser,
the little teaser in the back. Yeah,
Miles. Yeah,
I don't get it. It's like it, I mean, I guess. I mean, but it's not really a preview. I mean, it's not even It's basically from like here. I mean, it's like here. It doesn't even show
Yeah.
his covered head. I mean, it's like from here to here, and it's like blown up. I mean, it just basically
Mhm.
just shows like the SpiderMan suit is all you see. You don't even. I mean, nothing, and it just says next issue. I mean, if you're gonna go that, then if you're gonna try and make that claim, then you can never try and stand on the back of 181 being first Hulk. I mean, like if that's what you're going with, then you cannot possibly, or even Venom, first
Right.
being 300. I mean, you can't possibly do that.
It's not in the
Well,
story. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
not
just
even in the story.
yeah.
even as Never Enough Comics says, you might as well go make sure you look at Ultimate Fallout 1 because it has the Jurjevic, Miles cover in the back. So I think you know what it is, you guys. I say this every time this comes up. There's fans out there that are such big fans that they want them all. There's Harley fans that want every Harley appearance. They want to get Batman Adventures number 11 because it mentions Harley in the little preview in the back. They want to get that Almost Got 'Em tape deck book. They want to get the coloring book preview. They want the magazines. I get it, man. That is what collectors do. And especially collectors those are their favorite characters. A lot of people came into this game because of Miles, and there'll be more coming into this game because of Miles in the future. So the only thing is that there's so many of these books printed, you guys. So many. It is absolutely ridiculous how many Ultimate Fallout 4 printed copies there are.
Do you have an idea, like a rough estimate?
Hold on here. I think I do. As a matter of fact, shout out to our boy Josh, International Comics, and a couple other people. I think we're in it might have been Popcorn Culture's group chat talking about it recently, the print run on that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So I mean, there's just a massive print run on there.
Yeah, you can't even go by like Comicron numbers on it because everybody, all the retailers were just, I mean, they were buying boxes of them for like a quarter.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way,
way after.
a 9.8 peak of Ultimate Fallout 4, 9.8 peak was $4,500 in April. It's now down to $1,719, 62% change.
That's what the second print Bagley was going for. Actually, no, it was actually lower than that. So it's basic. Wow, cut in half. Actually, cut 60%.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is take that into consideration, and then this book right here sells for 800. Now, that doesn't make any sense.
Goddamn top 10 shows.
Next on the list, you guys, a lot of people obviously wanting Jason David Frank stuff. Rest in peace. Unfortunately, it seems like every year we lose a couple people that we admire or love. Unfortunately, to suicide, and depression is a motherfucker, man. And we all go through it. It's a human condition. It's something that for some people is very, very tough to pull themselves out of. And I think it's very important to take a second here just to remind everybody that if you're feeling that way at all, find a friend, find somebody that you love, that you care for, and let them know you're feeling that way. Talk about it. Let somebody know that, hey, man, I'm not feeling okay right now. I just need to talk to somebody, and it will change. It will change. It will help. We all need somebody in our life, whether it's a friend or a loved one or a spouse, that not only, we can say, hey, I'm really angry about something. Can I talk to you about it? And they can talk you down from, being angry. They can talk you down from a ledge. They can give you good advice on something. And, if you're feeling depressed, reach out to somebody, get help, reach out to somebody, medication, if that's whatever it takes. There's always a way out, and this too shall pass, just like everything else. So, a lot of Jason David Frank stuff being sold. I've seen a lot of Green Ranger and White Ranger stuff being sold. And here's one on the Almost 10 this week, a Green Ranger variant. This is the second print variant right here. Yeah, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0, the second print variant.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying all that too, Brian, because I think it's very important. And I saw some, comment from somebody in the chat that said something like, it's, a lot of people don't have anybody. I think honestly, I think a lot of people in our comic community um, can can kind of basically take the place of family members sometimes. Sometimes I feel like you guys are more my family members than some of my actual family members. I mean, it's like we talk about comics, but we also know we're human, and we can talk about real life stuff and things that are going on in our real lives. And so yeah, so never. I know me personally, and I think you guys probably feel the same. Even if you guys, even anybody out there, if you ever feel anything, if you have no one else to talk to, um, and I don't know you at all, but my chats are always open, to, and I think you guys are the same way. So yeah,
Yeah, it's funny because I never hear Ben rip on anybody ever. Best guy to talk to. Probably, I would say 1 and 1A. The next best guy to talk to, they're going head to head is the guy right above Ben, Ryan McClay. This guy's talked me off a few ledges. When I didn't have shit to do. We were all stuck in the house. Everything was driving me nuts, and I cared about what everybody said on the internet. And I grew out of that, luckily, at 45 years old, which is embarrassing to say. And, so thank you too for saying that. That means a lot, especially coming from me.
Amen, brother. Amen. So yeah, this book right now selling for what, about $25 on the secondary market.
yeah,
Uh,
and it was. I mean, it's just a second print, but I mean, this was all those head variants that they did for this zero. This one was the second print. It was, it was always like a $10 book, but now,
I
but
also think that a couple of books to be on the lookout for that are actually really cheap are the first appearance of the Green Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #2. You can get that. There's a direct and a newsstand. As you can see, they're pretty cheap, $40 for high grade copies raw. And then also issue #3, I believe, is the first appearance of the White Ranger, which as most Power Ranger fans know, is same character. So be on the lookout for those early issues, first appearance issues. You can get them high grade 9.8s for less than $100.
Yeah. Do you guys know? I mean, two questions. One question. Do you guys know? Like, are these low print run? Because I'm not. I don't know anything about Power Rangers.
I'm not sure on the print run of Power Rangers stuff. I'm pretty sure that the print run on this Power Ranger stuff from Boom is a very high print run. They were printing this stuff out ridiculous. Again, another shout out. You guys hear it all the time. Big shout out to Jesse James Comics, who did some really cool exclusives with Power Rangers stuff. He always had stacks of Power Rangers books. So very, very cool stuff. Yeah, man.
It only takes one adaptation knockout, and boom! Next thing you know, those $94 9/8 are $994 9/8. So act fast.
Amen. Amen. You know what? I also saw a lot of that. I do those market reports where I love to look at toys and action figures and stuff, and a lot of boxed, signed of these swords, the Green Ranger sword, from the toy back in the day, and that was for the generation that is just younger than me. I was never a Power Rangers guy. I was too old for that. I was a GI Joe and a Star Wars guy. I think that the generation after me, it was the Power Rangers group, and I know that Green Ranger sword was always such a grail item for a lot of kids. And those are actually, you can get them for a pretty decent price if you're into that stuff. So be on the lookout. All right. Next on the Almost 10, a Perillo Warlords of Mars. This is a beautiful Warlords of Mars cover by Perillo. Warlords of Mars #14, the 1/15 variant.
yeah, I can't remember. I know we talked about these Warlord of Mars Perios before, but I don't remember which one. I don't think it was this one. I think it was a different one, but this one sold for $150 raw this week. So I mentioned the last time we talked about these Warlord of Mars that some of these sell for big money. Anything from the from 10 years ago, from Warlord of Mars, Vampirella, or Red Sonja that's Perio. If it's hard to find, it's expensive, and don't pass it up.
Yeah.
basically.
Beautiful stuff. Be on the lookout for I always look for, there's 3 artists that I always look for in these type of books, right? This and Vampirella and stuff like that. It's Perillo, Delato, and Frizen, right? So great stuff. All right, I got a couple more that I added to the list this week. Next on the list, this is an interesting book that I totally forgot about. A badass Scotty Young variant, Guardians of the Galaxy issue 25 right here. This is a 1 in 15 Iron Man variant that Scotty Young did. Feel like it's an homage to, what was that big robot cartoon back, Iron Giant, something like that.
Iron
But
Giant.
yeah, this is a $70 book raw.
I didn't realize this was Scotty Young. I've seen this book before, but I just didn't. I guess I never put 2 and 2 together that it was Scotty Young.
Yeah, beautiful
Yeah.
early Scotty Young art. I wouldn't say like early, but 2010.
Yeah.
Tough book.
What is Scotty Young's first cover?
That's
It is I know this. Hold on. You're gonna make me bring up my list. It is, chat's gonna get to it before me, but I'll let them do it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I know it. It's on my list. I have to pull it out. Is it Mega Man? Yeah, Mega Man. Yep. Mega Man.
and then he did an interview I found online in 2009. About 2009, that says that he actually did an earlier one than the Mega Man.
Yeah,
I
he
don't-
was.
I don't remember which one it
It's
was.
not Mega Man. Didn't he do one of the ones where it's a comics publisher that did a really rare Goon cover or Goon storyline, if I'm not mistaken. Digital webbing, yes, digital webbing number 2. Thank you, Patrick. There's a really rare Goon storyline in digital webbing, and digital webbing number 2 is his first cover. Yeah. So I love Scotty Young stuff now. You know what? I've loved Scotty Young for a long time, but not because of he's an artist. He used to have a really cool podcast back in the day. He was one of the first guys podcasting back in the early 2000s, before, like, right as iPads, or I mean iPods came out. He was on a podcast that he did way back in the day, and I can never remember the name of the podcast. Chat, if you remember that name, please let us know. But it was a really good podcast about comic books, and it was a comic store and really good stuff before he was getting regular artist work. It was cool. It was very cool. So, all right, another one, a book that I love that's very, very tough to find. This is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original glossy promo. This is a tough book. It was written and drawn by Francis Mao, and it was produced by Sega as a promo copy, issued in Canada and the United States to publicize the release of Sonic the Hedgehog game in 1991. So it's smaller. It's about this big. And they also put these as inserts in certain books. You can find those in certain comics where they're inserts, but this is not the insert. This is the glossy cover. Very, very tough to find. And a copy of this sold this week, a raw copy, for $285 on 23 bits.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's not the newsprint. This okay. This is the 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 one, right?
Yes, you got it. Yep. Very, very tough, small, glossy version. So very, very, very tough book to find. All right. Next on the Almost 10, a book that Richie brought up many moons ago, back during the Flipside days, if I remember correctly, on the old Prospect 10 show that we used to do.
And Modern Comic
Amazing
Mayhem.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man number 253. First appearance of Wilson Fisk's son, the Rose, who is just recently announced James Gandolfini's son's going to play him in the TV show.
Yeah, it's a speculation because he's casted into Daredevil Born Again. They just haven't announced the character he's playing, but dots together. ASM 83 is your first appearance of the Schemer, which was later revealed, I think, via retcon, but not really sure, as Richard Fisk, son of Kingpin. So that would probably qualify as your first appearance of Richard Fisk, the son of Kingpin. But then the most important book, and if you guys missed my live stream today, I went through a Digging In with Dollar segment on this character, why I believe that if he is casted, Michael Gandolfini as Richard Fisk, I believe he's going to be playing the Rose. So check that out. But yeah, this is an important book, and I think it's I spent maybe 4 hours today reading ASM 253 all the way through the Gang Wars from 284 to 290, Spider-Man versus Wolverine #1, the Death of the Hobgoblin. I mean, there's a lot of dot connecting there, and you guys will have fun with it. But yeah, I think this is a cheap book. There's Mark Jewelers, newsstands, Canadian price variants, and you can get high grade copies for a good price.
And it's a book that was kind of on a lot of people's list to pick up when they saw it, just because it's a early black costume appearance of Spidey, obviously being one issue after 252. Great cover when you look at the roses and him, you know, clipping the roses and the battle in the background. But I think more importantly, looking for those tough to find Mark Jewelers or the Canadian price variants might be your play on this. By the way, you guys, make sure you guys are subbed up over at Popcorn Culture. He's 10 subscribers away from 600, you guys. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you're not subbed up to Richie's YouTube channel, go do it. There's the link. You can also find it in the video description below. Let's get him over 600 subs. He just did a show today, right before 2 hours ago. Make sure you guys go check it out. A lot of information. He's always dropping very, very interesting nuggets over there. So make sure you guys go check it out.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next on the Almost 10, one last book. Well, books. And I've never heard of these. Rubber Blanket. Have you ever heard of these? Anybody ever heard of these books? These Rubber Blanket books? This is David Mazzucchelli's comic books called Rubber Blanket. I think that they're anthology series, and he does a lot of stuff in it. Richmond Lewis and David Mazzucchelli do a lot of stuff in it. It was put out in 1991, and it sells for a lot. I think there's 3 issues total, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Issue number 1 sold for $123 raw on 16 bids a couple days ago, and issue number 2 sold for $180 on 22 bids that same day. So tough series to look for, to find. You never know, you know, you see something like this, take a look at it. If you can get it for cheap, finding a half price books, it might be, you know, taking a shot.
What is this even about?
Rubber Blanket. Let's take a look here. It says,
this seems really uncomfortable. I don't think I could sleep with a rubber blanket.
Yeah. Depends what you're into.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
Let me take a look here. Let me see here. It says alternative anthology stuff. So I bet you it's a bunch of little series. But let's take a look.
That's a hefty cover price.
Yeah, it says was an alternative comics anthology magazine edited by husband and wife team of cartoonist David Mazzucchelli and painter colorist Richmond Lewis. It was self-published under the banner of Rubber Blanket Press in a deluxe oversized format from 91 to 93, 3 issues total. And it's mostly a showcase for Mazzucchelli's stuff. He largely turns his back on the superhero work that made him a fan favorite and moved towards a personal storytelling style with bold and expressionistic artwork. 3 stories earned Mazzucchelli the 72nd position on the Comics Journal's list of best comics of the 20th century. So that's pretty damn big deal that, you know, Comics Journal added these at number 73 for best comics of the 20th century list. That's interesting. So yeah, go check it out. And if you see it, pick them up. Might be worth $1 or $2.
Almost $6 cover price, like Ben was saying. That cover price from 1991. Wow, I wonder what it would cost nowadays. Like $30.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Must be a lot of good stuff in there. That's a good pick.
Yeah. All right. That was the Almost 10. Thank you guys for checking it out. Make sure you guys go check out Beyond Wednesdays. Tomorrow we will have Modern Comic Mayhem. We do shows every Wednesday and every Saturday live. Go check out last Wednesday's On the Radar. Great show, great episode. Check out the Market Report. Lots of fun stuff. We'll see you there.